got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sailing right now. I feel like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
I'm excited to introduce today's episode. This episode is some of the biggest givers and people I consider the experts in customer service, business development, relationships, and I always listen to their recommendations. So if you don't know this, you're listening to InspiredInsider.com, and some of mine, you'll be listening to some experts on their top books and their top people and resources they recommend. I want to share some of mine. Some of my top books for my website. You can check out rise25.com, inspiredinsider.com. My top books on customer service or business relationship partnerships. Brian Kurtz, Overdeliver. It's a must read. John Ruhlin, Giftology, one of my favorites. Joey Coleman, Never Lose a Customer Again. I know some people who map out his the subtitle is Turn Any Sale into a Lifelong Loyalty in 100 Days. I know people who took his book, mapped out the first 100 days of their customer journey using his book. We have Adam Grant, Give and Take, Bob Burg, The Go-Giver, and this list would not be complete without Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I remember listening to those audio cassettes over and over in my car. So check those out. Some of the people I really look at as admire with customer service, business relationships, there's so many. And those people are on this episode because I reached out to them and asked them to share their knowledge, their recommended books, their recommended resources and people. So thank you.
Hi there. My name is Tony Grebmeier. I'm one of the owners at ShipOffers.com. We've been around for over 19 years, a company that started in my garage. And I got to tell you, from the very beginning until today, relationships are the keys to the kingdom. They are the things that help you most. When you have a question, you pick up the phone and you dial somebody. And questions were posed like, what are some resources you could share? Number one, the importance of taking care of not only your team members, but the clients you get to work with, and then they go out and give referrals and bring business back to you. So one of the best books that I picked up in the last couple of years is Giftology from John Ruhlin. Just a great guy, a wonderful premise. Also, just the art of making shit happen in this day and age. You got to have a guy like a Steve Sims speaking to you. Great book, Blue Fishing. I recommend you pick it up. And if you're looking for some additional people to follow out in the market today, I got to tell you, the guy at Rise 25, Jeremy Wise, one of my dearest friends, always thinking about how to make a relationship better, takes just the fantastic notes. And I invited Jeremy, along with David Gonzalez from IMP, got a great consulting business, and Roland Frazier, digital marketer, and just a great guy all around, to join me earlier this year on Networking Remote 2020. And they came on the show, and those were the three people I wanted to kick my show off. They were the people that I think if you're going to need to know somebody in this industry, you follow those three, you're going to find the person you are looking for. Once again, my name's Tony Grebmeier, and thanks for letting me spend just a few minutes of time with you.
Hi, Brian Kurtz here, participating in this Inspired Insider series on customer service and forging better relationships. My company's Titans Marketing. We're a direct marketing consultancy, but we really educate and train copywriters and marketers in everything direct marketing. My website is briankurtz.net, and I'll give you a couple of plugs on some books, and I'll give you a couple of plugs on some people that epitomize what Jeremy's trying to do with this series. The books are not as obvious for me. One of them is Give and Take by Adam Grant, which is a book about how you identify givers, takers, and matchers. Matchers are people who want to match you 50-50. And it's a really good book because it gives you the broad overview of what giving is all about. And then I guess The Go-Giver by Bob Burg is another wonderful book. I think Retention by Robert Scrobe, which is a book about retaining customers, which is more important than getting them, believe it or not. And my book, Overdeliver, Chapter 8, Customer Service and Fulfillment Are Marketing Functions. And then some people I'd like to just mention. Joe Polish is one of the biggest givers I know, great friend for over 20 years. Jeremy Weiss, who is just an amazing giver and really understands what it means to collaborate. The 100-0 concept that I profess, that you give 100% of yourself and don't expect anything in return, and you end up getting so much more in return. And I'll leave you with the fact that my book is called Overdeliver because it's because you should always overdeliver rather than underdeliver. You can't overdeliver all the time, but people might expect too much, but you can deliver most of the time.
Hey guys, my name is Dreyer. I'm the CEO and founder of Rankings.io, where we help elite personal injury attorneys dominate first page rankings. The top 3 books I recommend for customer service and business relationships and partnerships, I'd say number 1 is Never Lose a Customer Again by Joey Coleman. It's a great book about, worrying about all the processes from when you first talk to the client till they're an existing client to making them into an evangelist. The onboarding experience, there's a lot of good nuggets there. Another great book, The Art of Client Service. And then a third book, kind of an old school, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And number 3, a few people I highly respect for business relationships. So in my space, digital agency space, Carl Sakis, he's my executive coach. He's a beast. He is very organized, process organized, very knowledgeable about what it takes to scale a digital agency. I also work with Jason Swink. Jason Swink runs an incredible mastermind. He has, segmented channels. Just there's tons of access by working with him. He's just a great guy to work with too, to help. He's also just phenomenal and instrumental in helping grow my business.
Ian Garlic here. Ian, not Ian. Garlic like the spice. And I'm the founder of StoryCruise.com, where you can find the latest video strategies from the experts in the industry. We just did the Giants of Video Summit on Story Cruise, not like a cruise ship, CREWS.com. You also can find a directory of videographers and editors near you that are trained in marketing. And you can go to storycruise.com. It's free to use. There's a ton of awesome video marketing information. Top 3 books for customer service. Number 1, Joey Coleman's Never Lose a Customer Again. Probably the best book out there for customer service. You can really increase your profits by reading this book. Be Our Guest, the Disney customer service methodology. I feel like I'm under the gun with this little timer here. And then Setting the Table by Danny Meyer. Absolutely incredible business and customer service book. 3 people for amazing at building relationships and are incredible givers. My friend Tony Grebmeier of ShipOffers, one of the nicest people out there, most giving people out there, really great at building relationships. And he has an amazing podcast too. Dr. Jeremy Weiss of Rise 25, probably one of the best people for networking and really creating solid relationships. And then my friend Jay Fassett, he's incredible at these JV partnerships, but connecting people, bringing the right people in the room together. I would say those are my 3 big relationship builders and givers out there. Ian Garlic.
Hi, I'm Joel Weldon. Most likely the oldest guest you're going to hear on a podcast. Actually, I'm so old, my social security number is 5. Did you just laugh? Well, good. That means I've gotten your attention. Now I can continue telling you what it is I do. I coach successful people on how to be even more effective speakers and communicators. My website is www.ultimatespeaker.com or email me at joelweldonspeaker@gmail.com. For over 45 years, I've been a Hall of Fame professional speaker with well over 3,000 paid talks. Plus, I have personally coached and critiqued well over 10,000 speakers. Here are 3 basic beliefs that can help you become an even better speaker and communicator. Number 1, speaking effectively is a learned skill. Number 2, be yourself. Be you. And when you're congruent, you can relax. And number 3, it's little tweaks that get you big results. That's how simple we make effective speaking. Reading is important too, so I'd recommend Younger Next Year by Crowley and Lodge, subtitled Live Strong and Fit and sexy until you're 80 and beyond. And that's why as I approach 80, I'm still working full-time, a competitive slalom water skier and sky skier. For a person in business that I'd admire and respect, Coach John Wooden. He died at age 99 after a legendary career as basketball coach at UCLA. Read every one of his books, and then you can go out and make it a great day.
I am super excited to be on the Inspired Insider series with you. My name is Joey Coleman, and you can find me at joeycoleman.com. I teach companies how to keep their customers. And when it comes to great customer experience books, there are 3 that I'd like to recommend that aren't traditionally thought of as customer experience books per se, but I think offer some incredibly valuable insights and wisdom for you. The first one is called The Membership Economy by Robbie Baxter. It's all about how increasingly your customers are looking to be in a long-term relationship with you. They want to consider themselves part of a membership that you run, and what can you do to design these type of interactions in your business? The second one is called Attention Pays by the incomparable Neen James. This fantastic book, as alluded to by the title, is all about how focusing and paying attention to your customers can lead to great relationships and a fantastic increase in your bottom line. The last one is an oldie but a goodie. It's called Love Marks, and it's by Kevin Roberts, the CEO of Saatchi & Saatchi Advertising Company. This book is all about how do you create a brand that people will love and want to be in an ongoing relationship with. Now, when it comes to some people who I highly respect in the space of customer experience, customer service, and forging better relationships, a couple come to mind: Matthew Bertulli and Brad Peterson at the fantastic Pila Case. It's a Canadian company that's all about sustainability solutions for a throwaway society. They're absolutely wonderful in how they create connection with their customers. John Rulon, the CEO of Giftology, a company that's all about strategic appreciation and how you can build connection with your customers. And last but not least, Ethan Butte, the chief evangelist at BombBomb.
Hi, everybody. This is Mike Roderick from Small Pond Enterprises. My website is smallpondenterprises.com, and I'm excited to do this Inspired Insider series. So in terms of books that I highly recommend, I'd start with Adam Grant's Give and Take, a really wonderful book to help you think about your own process of giving and asking. Then Never Read Alone by Tal Raz and Keith Ferrazzi, both really great guys and very, very excellent material. And then the final book that I would recommend is the classic How to Win Friends and Influence People. I just think there's so much there in terms of psychology. In regards to the people that I highly respect in this space, first, of course, would be Dory Clark, author of Stand Out and Reinventing You. She has a lot of wonderful material and is also just a great connector, as well as Robbie Samuels, who also writes a lot on relationship building, but is doing some really cool stuff in the Zoom side of things, really teaching people about the technology. And then finally, I would go with Jeff Madoff, who just recently wrote a book called Creative Careers, and he's just always really been wonderful in terms of connecting people and helping support people and sort of bring them together for all sorts of different creative ventures. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to the couple of ideas I have, and hope everybody is doing well. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Vinny Fisher here, the CEO and founder of Fully Accountable. Fully Accountable is a fractional CFO and e-commerce accounting company for e-commerce, tech, and digital companies throughout North America. We provide that entire back office. We help you run and operate like a profit center so that you can actually truly keep more of the money that you make and not just have some type of, so to speak, bookkeeping service. You can find out more about us at fullyaccountable.com. So I was asked about like my 3 favorite books, and I figured I'd show you like from a standpoint of business relationship stuff. I'm in a phase of my life where I'm building companies, teams, multiple operations. And so I think always about acquisition of the customer. So one of my favorite reads is Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. So I would highly recommend that book. Probably a go-to book for me all the time, especially right now with kind of the activities of being a CEO. I have a wartime CEO mindset. And so I would love The Hard Thing About Hard Things. And this is by Ben Horowitz. And then because I only have it in digital format, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. These three books from a leadership perspective are excellent. One of them, of course, is really from acquiring the customer. And the other two are more for company expansion stuff. And then finally, I think your network is a critical component to the growth of your company. And, when I think about who I do business with and collaborate with, the people in charge of Rise 25 and Dr. Jeremy Wise and John Cochran are two guys right at the top of the list. But I would also throw in Roland Frazier and Ed O'Keefe as two people that I collaborate with on a regular basis.
Hey everyone, my name's Jeff Garnet. I'm the owner of Clean Slate Laser Tattoo Removal Centers. We're a regional chain of tattoo removal clinics in New York and New Jersey. We have 6 locations and remove several thousands of tattoos every year. Our website is www.cleanslatelaser.com. As far as books, our preferred business books this year, I think the one that really spoke to me the best was Bottleneck Breakthrough by Josh Long. Josh does an amazing job at looking at kind of the pain points as companies are growing from a solopreneurship to a small business, and from $500,000 a year to $1 million a year to $2 or $3 million a year, $5 million a year, and $10 million a year. There were definitely some struggling points that I was dealing with that I felt were unique to my business. But after reading his book, it felt like he was speaking directly to me. And not only were his suggestions extremely helpful, but they also, it was comforting to know that it wasn't just me and that I'm not just out of my mind, and that these were very common struggling points that businesses my size have. As far as a customer service story, years ago, I was at a fancy restaurant in New York called Per Se. I was working in the financial industry and I was entertaining clients. And I went there with my wife and a client and his wife. And my wife liked the French macaroons. They must have taken note of it and put it in the CRM, because 6 months later, I came back with clients without my wife. And at the end of the dinner, they brought me a bag of French macaroons and said, "We remember that your wife loved these last times." It made me look like a star when I got home, and it was so impressive. I'll never forget it. Use your CRM notes. It helps. Take care, everyone. Have a good one.
Hi, my name is Liron Hirschkorn. I'm the CEO of Incrementum Digital. Incrementum Digital helps you grow your sales on Amazon using the power of Amazon advertising and Amazon DSP. You can reach me at Liran, Liran, at incrementumdigital.com. So the question is, how do you what are the top 3 books for partnerships and business relationships? And I'm not going to cover books. I'm actually going to cover some of the things that I do that have helped me in developing relationships. And the number one thing is coming from the energy of how can I give? How can I add value to this situation, to this networking, to this relationship? And I don't have a formula, or I don't have a score I keep if that comes back to me today or if it comes back to me in the future. And a lot of times, I will meet somebody, I'll add value, and then they'll introduce me to somebody else, and that relationship develops. And so I think the key in building relationships is coming from a standpoint of giving, coming from a standpoint of how do I create value and not keeping score, and knowing that the universe, that the law of reciprocity brings these things back somewhere or another into your life. Some of the key people that I follow and principles is Jesse Itzler. I've gotten to spend some time with him in this past year. And one of the things he does is simple little things to build upon relationships, like following up with an email, following up with a handwritten note. If you reached out to one additional person over the next year, you'll reach out to an additional 365 relationships just out of the blue, following up and networking. Jeremy Weiss is actually excellent at this and consistently does this in building relationships. And if you are close to him, you're probably getting those messages. So I think it's doing the small things other people aren't willing, and coming from the energy standpoint of giving and creating value for others.
Hey, this is Justin Breen. I run the PR firm Brepic. It's a PR firm that works only with visionaries and exceptional businesses around the world. The website is brepicllc.com. That's B as in boy, R-E-P as in pony, I-C as in cobra, LLC.com. brepicllc.com. Top 3 books for customer service or business relationship partnerships. Really like Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Chris actually wrote the foreword for my book, Epic Business, which recently launched. Love the NCG Factor by Larry Kaufman, and Extreme Ownership, How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win. Those are great books for business leadership and developing really great business relationships and partnerships. There are several people that I highly respect for business relationships, partnerships. Basically what my company is, an incubator of geniuses around the world, and we're constantly introducing each other for mutual gain. And the byproduct is I'm constantly getting intros to companies and businesses around the world. Some really great entrepreneurs who are awesome at creating real partnerships and great relationships are Karen Todd, Matt Deutschman, Larry Kaufman's very solid. Chris Johnson is an excellent person who creates amazing intros for me and my business. And boy, there's so many more, but I'm so thankful to have my company, Brepic, and sharing joy and abundance and investment mindset around the world. Thank you.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sailing right now. I feel like $100 grand.